welcome back to Doctor Who Series 3, Episode 8 and 9. No, Episode 8, what's it called? Human Nature. And Episode 9, The Family of Blood. Where once again today, I am joined by my brother Caden, who
Hello.
managed to remember daylight savings.
I did.
You did as well, apparently. Well done. Actually, the odds are you didn't, I guess, if you're watching this, because most people are going to watch this recorded. But yeah, it's been a while. I was sick, and then I was recovering from a sickness and playing like headliners the night before. And now it's today.
It is.
We experienced Christopher Chibnall. And then we
did.
just needed some time to process, the man who wrote Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, just like come down from that high.
Yeah, that's honestly all I've been doing is
yeah.
rewatching that episode for 3 weeks.
Just on loop. Yeah, it was really weird when we were playing headliners, but I understand. Believe it or not, we're actually coming in to a streak of, some would say, better episodes, which is... If you didn't watch last one, you probably think that we were the most toxic Chibnall haters, but no, yeah, this is I think widely considered. You often see it thrown around is the greatest streak of episodes. Just a good, consistent quality here through the end of the season. Blink's in there. Obviously, this is a great one. I don't know if you really remember many of them.
Yeah, we'll see.
But this is a series of good ones. This episode specifically, Human Nature, is written by Paul Cornell. This is only TV Doctor Who contribution. But you need a bit of a history lesson before we start this episode. So before we do that, let's explain it so people can get set up. I always forget to do this. If you don't know what we're doing today, we are basically recording an audio commentary track live. So for legal reasons, I can't just stream the episode of Doctor Who, of course. I will play a blurred version in the background and keep this time bar up. But in a little bit, we are going to do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, everyone's going to hit play, and we're going to be synced up. For Doctor Who specifically, this is a little bit of an issue. Because there are, we'll call it 2 versions of every Doctor Who episode. At the end of this season, we're going to... finally have to elaborate on that. But there's the original UK version and what we're calling the original American version. They are exactly the same, except the American version is about 4% slower. We are watching the American version because I have rips of some American Blu-rays that I all bought before knowing this was an issue. And... streaming wise, usually the American version is what things use. German Amazon uses it. I would hazard a guess iPlayer doesn't. I'd really be interested to confirm that. It'd be funny if iPlayer used the American versions. But I mean, German Amazon does, so I don't know.
Of course.
I don't know. It's a frame rate encoding thing. Trust me, you don't want to know. We got enough to talk about today. But yeah, that's going to be the ramble. There's going to be a little bit of rambling because there's some news in the past 3 weeks. So first off, we have had, this was a while ago, we have had confirmed the release date for the next season of Doctor Who. With the 15th Doctor, it will be April 12th, 4 weeks from now, or basically, a month out. April 12th, midnight Pacific Standard Time, or about 8 a.m. UK, 3 a.m. for you, Caden. That'd be Eastern, I think. I don't know. But yeah, so I've moved it over to the American midnight release. Not gonna spend too much time on the release time because we got a bunch to do. But what's relevant for us is after finishing this season, assuming we don't skip any episodes, we'll have the Christmas special. What's that? Voyage of the Damned. And then the next week, the 13th, will be our reviews for 15th Doctor. So we'll be doing it the day after it comes out, which is nice. It's either that or a week late. And so everyone should hopefully have time to watch it at some point over 36 hours. But that'll be noon Pacific Standard Time, the same time these are. Just the day after, unless... I mean, actually, just looking at that, the second episode is Easter Sunday. So, I don't know if people are busy. Usually we host Easter. Just stay tuned. We'll talk about it there. You got Mother's Day. You got Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, that'll take us through the first. I know basically no spoilers. I did see the picture of the villain that was announced alongside this. My wife and I are excited. We can talk after this if you really want. But it coincidentally, it was the only villain I knew something about. The main thing about this villain I had known. And so I'm kind of glad if I accidentally got one spoiled, it was that one. Additionally, with that next season, evidently, maybe this has been disproven since I saw it this morning, the episode titles and synopsis have been leaked for the whole next season. In the format of like how it would appear on Disney Plus. So there's a frame. I didn't look at those. I did peek at the titles because I have plans for those. However, I will say they were all quite bad and vaguely felt placeholder. No spoilers. But one of them was, the first one's literally the most generic name ever. It's essentially calling it like the aliens attack. That's kind of the level they were going at. And, maybe the titles are bad. I would be convinced they were placeholders, but bear in mind, we have a season coming out called The War Between the Land and the Sea. So, you know what? It might be a rough comedy summary season. But hey, there is actually, though, I will warn you, if you go and look at those, I haven't read the synopsis, but one of them seems to suggest a villain in there.
That's exciting.
It could just be coincidence, but keep that in mind if you do want to go take a peek at those. Yeah, we will never talk about unaired episodes. Spoilers. I'm super big. I won't even tell you the stupid generic episode title. I'm big on spoilers. Without a big spoiler warning, and it'll be like the end of the stream. So if that's a big thing for you, this should be a place. I'm probably stricter than the Doctor Who Reddit is. There was a post on that Reddit that was okay, this was marked as the spoiler tag. It's just actor from another show announced for Doctor Who. But it was House of the Dragon alumni announced for season 15. And if you don't know, the only actor I know who's in House of the Dragon is Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor. So I'm like, it's not Matt Smith. But if I don't click now, I'm going to be disappointed when Matt Smith is not in next season, And
yeah.
I won't spoil. Maybe it was Matt Smith. But, it's...
That's funny.
They probably couldn't keep a lid on that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, human nature. As I said, you need a bit of a history lesson for this one, right?
Yeah, what do I need to know?
Well, basically, the Boston Tea Party was an event where, a bunch of Americans threw the tea in the river. It was part of the American Revolution.
It was.
That's the history lesson.
Okay. I'm familiar.
It's also, I think it's interesting that this episode, Paul Cornell, I mentioned, wrote it. He has actually written for Doctor Who before. He wrote for the Virgin New Adventures. This was after the classics had been canceled, and before they met a nice young lady and became the Chad New Adventures under the BBC. He wrote a novel called Human Nature with the 7th Doctor and Benny. Don't worry about Benny. So this is obviously, it's one of the best I've heard. I've never read them. It's one of the best of the Virgin New Adventures. And so he was brought back specifically to write an adaptation of that for, of course, the 10th Doctor and Martha. I've never read the original. I've heard it's a very good adaptation. It's a good one. But that's what this one is. I think it's the first just direct adaptation. What?
I thought you were doing your take the episode name and make something up.
This is the premise. But it's about, right? So what is this actually about?
Okay, right. Yeah.
Human nature. it's basically about David Attenborough. It's celebrating David
What does this have to do
Attenborough,
with the
right?
Boston Tea Party?
No, that was just a history lesson. Like,
Oh,
it's good to stay educated, right? You needed a
okay.
history lesson. Yeah, it's a new thing I'm trying.
What I thought was happening and what is
Yeah.
happening were two completely different things.
No, it's basically like celebrating David Attenborough. Of course, famous, the wildlife documentary guy. He's like, I'm David Attenborough. This is what I sound like. Here you see the wild penguin or whatever.
Absolutely.
He never does his research, David Attenborough, poor guy. But I'd like that, actually, a dub of anyway, it kind of sets up where they land. David Attenborough's not there. They land with Martha, and they step out the door, and they're basically going to, like people talk about, human stuff is unnatural, right? We're very unnatural. We build like dams and power plants, and it's basically this like big push to nature. So the premise is, what if we take like nature, but make it human, right? So the bit in Jurassic Park where they're like, "Welcome to Jurassic," and they open the door. It's like do 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 do, and you see the dinosaurs running and like the Bronchiosaurus. It's like that, except they're all. The doctor opens the Toy Story. He's like, "Welcome to human nature," and it goes do do do. They got the music, and you got like the humans running around. Like that girl who can gallop like a horse. It's like that. You got them rearing like, and it's beautiful. Martha's like, they do move in herds, and like David Attenborough's there to show them around. And that's part one, is they're exploring the part called human nature, where it's like nature, but everything's a human, right?
Are these humans caged like in Jurassic Park?
Well, it's like the whole planet is like a wild. They're not caged in Jurassic Park. It's on an island. It's like they can't escape.
Well, yeah, but I mean they're secluded and they're held there without.
Well, only the dangerous ones.
Permission to leave. Are there dangerous humans?
Well, that's a good question. I don't remember this episode. I think in the novel there are, but there wasn't enough time for that. And then Family of Blood, right, is they go, as they're exploring at the end of one of these houses, they go into a house, like a standard 2.5 kids, lovely house.
Oh, so these are like coherent human beings, though.
Well, no, they're like nature, They go in a house, and there's just like a bunch of, it's real bloody, it looks like a murder scene. And Martha's like, wow, this place is like a mess. And then you hear like, what are you talking about? And then like one of the blood pools just like moves towards her. It's like, that's no way to talk about my wife. And it's like, in this house is just a family of blood, right? Just like pools of blood on the floor.
Right.
And it's like a whole episode about like learning not to judge people and like racial tolerance. And it was a bold decision to do the racial tolerance episode with Martha, who's of course the first black companion. But it's just broadening your perspectives and like aliens and stuff, and that's Family of Blood.
So there's a distinctly human episode. Its identity.
Well, they're like human. Run the park. They're like the KFC guy who runs Jurassic Park.
Oh, the humans run the park, but the humans are also.
No, the humans are the exhibits.
Oh, the blood runs the park.
Yeah, the Family of Blood runs the park.
Okay, is it like, human blood?
It's just blood.
It's
like
just blood.
That's the species.
Nondescript.
They are blood. It's blood.
Okay, I'm very excited to see this play out.
It's a really good one.
I am on the edge of my seat. This is.
Are we ready to get started? Having lost most of our viewers.
We gained viewers.
Sure, let's go with that. As I said before, we are going to be doing. Oh, there'll also be a brief intermission between the two parts. We are going to be doing a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, everyone is going to hit play. We're not going to skip intros. We're not going to do anything like that because we're not heathens. Also, it's hard to sync up. And yeah, that'll be it. If you start getting synced off slowly over the course of like 10 minutes, you're probably watching the British version, and let us know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, crunch. Oh shit, we didn't wake up the hard drive. Okay, cancel that. Okay, we forgot. My hard drive likes to fall asleep. Everyone reset. You learned that you didn't actually watch your ad because you didn't buy the Blu-ray, and you're now freaking out. Okay, we're gonna reset. Everyone, right? We're gonna do another countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Caden, it is your job to remind me to.
Well, I was just thinking, of the entire process of like things we're supposed to remember, we'll like always forget at least one of them.
No.
Every time.
Okay, let's actually pay attention because I happen to be pointed out and notice like a flaw with the premise of this episode, right?
Oh.
And I'm gonna bring it up at the end of part 2, but they're being chased by the family because they broke the park rules.
Oh, of course.
And so this is the premise. I wonder how the novel started, actually. I kind of mean to watch it. Do you remember The Watch? Because that's pretty iconic.
No.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, good. I was hoping you wouldn't remember The Watch. Wait, are those his pajamas from the Christmas Invasion? That were like someone else's pajamas?
Well, he liked them. Kept them.
After Sword. It's a good one. So this is where the family of blood lives, of course.
In this house.
Cleaned. Yeah.
They have a couch. How do they get on the couch?
It just sit there.
How do they crawl up the couch?
I like how David Tennant has become more British. More English. I mean, he is great with accents.
I want to live in a world where the entire previous decades of Doctor Who are thrown out the window, and this is canon. He woke up, all of it was a dream, and we just get
what
this
are you talking about? That's what's happening.
No, but for the next... I mean, Doctor Who completely rebrands to this day in the life.
This is it.
Got it.
The 12th Doctor goes back. It's not very good. That's why 15's not like it. Oh, wait. He claimed it's 2007. Well, remember, we've skipped a year. But have we reset that then, and no one brings this up? Because remember, still through the 15th Doctor, we have an issue that the show takes place a year in the future, and it keeps forgetting that. Because the 9th Doctor with Rose, he went a year in the future. But no, because later on, we're actually going to have reference to the adventures with Rose, and they've happened. So yeah, there we go. He's confused. He's a dream.
Yeah, it's all just, he dreamt it anyway.
By the way, it's outstanding that this issue has genuinely persisted through the 14th Doctor. Actually, the 15th as well, because you meet Rose in the 15th era.
Huh.
Not Rose Tyler, but
those boys need to work on their march.
That's true. I mean, they are at school.
Wimpy flagpole, too.
I just noticed that. Where's their national pride? It's just some PVC out the front.
I couldn't reach that.
What that tells me is this castle doesn't have a flag out front, because look how modern it is, too. Yeah. I mean, we're not that far in the past. But
that was the actual set flag that they bring with them everywhere.
Everywhere. Because it's Doctor Who, they just need it.
Yeah.
It was a real problem when they went to France to film, but...
I love the Roman numeral bookcase.
That's true. Do you... Do you need those? I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt.
It's the vibe.
Okay, we haven't hit the explanation yet, right?
Yeah.
But I want to call out for this scene. A lot of people complain that obviously Martha has to pretend to be a servant girl in a racist time, as we're about to demonstrate.
Yeah.
And people say this is one of the 10th Doctor's biggest crimes towards Martha. Yes, there's a list. Where he chose this place to go where Martha would have an extraordinarily difficult time doing the job she has to and have to experience this kind of prejudice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see later. The Doctor didn't choose to go here. He references he sets the controls to random, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what actually happens is the TARDIS is a racist. So if that makes it better for you, you know that the TARDIS is racist.
My limited understanding of the TARDIS, I could see the TARDIS having a racist arc.
Oh my god, the TARDIS has to like learn to not be racist.
Yeah. Like, because doesn't the TARDIS like not like the Doctor's companions? I could see that
She can
there
get
being
fussy,
racial
you know,
element,
she...
a species
Well, okay.
racial element to it.
I think the TARDIS should be jealous but not racist. But I do love the idea of the TARDIS has to overcome some personal character flaw. This is what I want from Doctor Who.
Weirdly, this building is very familiar. I remember that more than what's happening in the episode. Like, I remember that staircase, yeah, but the watch, I don't remember that at all.
I mean, it's a distinct style, but I think it is just the, you know, old-timey England style. But we wouldn't... See, I don't know. Maybe it's Rogue. Who knows? I do like the racist elements weren't in the original book, as I understand, though, because Benny's white and the Seventh Doctor's white.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was a good addition. This is a great, very realistic depiction of very recent prejudices, you know. I think it definitely elevates the episode.
Yeah. His name's John.
John Smith, naturally. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge, then he falls down the stairs. Is this why you remember the stairs, by the way?
Maybe. And then he dies.
And then he regenerates. Could you imagine?
It was all a dream, and on the final episode, after realizing, they kill him off.
Yeah. She looks so disappointed, but I kind of would have liked an open mouth from her, just like astonishment, you know.
He looks very dapper.
He does. It's actually a bit weird to see him in like a proper suit. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's no more. There's less disheveled.
Well, I'm used to him in the 10th Doctor, but even like as a person on the news and stuff, he's not like ragged, but he's just more casual in my head, you know.
Yeah.
It's probably the old-timey suit. Oh my god! You have 2 hearts! Oop. Almost dropped my water bottle. It's a good outfit, though.
Yeah.
Nope. 1 heart. See? What did I say?
I should have worn that suit to the wedding.
The wedding where you came as the 15th Doctor?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have recognized it. It's true. In my wedding, Caden came as the 15th Doctor before the era even started.
Well, because I needed an easy costume, and the one distinct photo was like this brown overcoat.
Oh, it was good. Okay, I want to point this out. So we're going to get a scene here. I think for the first time of seeing a bunch of the previous Doctors. But noteworthy. Where is he? That's like an Auton. Man, this book's longer than I remember. Also, what the hell is this note-taking style? I don't remember any of my other companions, but... Come on! How big is this book? Bigger on the inside. I can't read most of this, but it does seem to be relevant.
Oh, that would be fun to, see what they put in there.
There you go, in the middle, right there. That's the 8th Doctor from the TV movie. Until this episode, it wasn't actually clear if the 8th Doctor was canon. Because, like, no one says, I'm the 9th Doctor, you know, in the show. I mean, they announce him as the 9th Doctor. But there would still be debate, because, as I understand, the movie itself was often kind of treated as like, oh, it doesn't count. You know, that American thing we should forget about. Because it's not the best movie.
Yeah.
But also, the 8th Doctor's got a bunch of great stuff on audio. Like, this is before my time. But from what I've heard, that's the kind
all
of
those other drawings were actually real and canon
Random
memories.
people.
And that one was just actually a dream that he had. And so the 8th Doctor is not real. It was just a real dream this guy had.
I was half human in that one. It was a bit weird. But no, that's also the first time we see a lot of any other Doctors in Modern Who, unless I'm forgetting something. Is that a photo of Notre Dame in the background? It's probably like Oxford or something. I've just made everyone mad. God, there's the creepiest teenager in the world. You remember him?
Dude, he's so young.
Wait, do you recognize
Oh
another?
my gosh.
Wait, what's going on?
What's his actual name? I love that
Wait,
actor.
which one? Who are we
The
talking
guy
about?
who's getting beat up right now.
Okay. I can look him up if you want.
I'm looking him up right now.
Okay.
Thomas Brody Sangster.
What's he do?
He's in a bunch of movies. Thomas Brody Sangster. Let me get a list here. Dude, he's like a child in here. He's in all the Maze Runners. Game of Thrones, Queen's Gambit.
Who's he in Game of Thrones?
Good question. I've never seen it.
I have. I assume you're looking at
Yeah.
Hello, Jack Slaw.
Jojen. Whoever Jojen is, he is Jojen. Jojen Reed in the 3rd season.
If it's not Doctor Who or Star Trek, it's rare I know who you are.
Yeah.
In fact, that woman who plays one of the Starks in Game of Thrones, she's in Doctor Who. That's like the only time I think I've known someone going into Doctor Who from something else. I like this accent. I don't know what it is, and I think she loses it later. But I weirdly can't place it. And I don't know why. Because it's such a normal accent. I assume that's Tuvok on Voyager. I haven't done a lot of Star Trek stuff recently, honestly. Modern Star Trek, despite like half of it being pretty good, I'm not as into it as Doctor Who, honestly. It's kind of, once Doctor Who got good again, that's become my main thing. But I still enjoy, obviously, some old Star Treks, and even some of the new ones. That happened to me the other day.
Oh man, Eugene, Oregon.
What?
I maybe remember part of this episode. I don't know. I don't know.
You've got to. It's one of the good ones. It's one of the iconic ones.
I remember one shot. I'll have to point it out.
Okay, describe it to me. I want to know if I can guess.
I think the ship crashes, maybe, and they're out by this like barracks, but they're not barracks. Maybe it land. I'll know it when I see it, and I'm pretty sure it's this.
That one?
No.
I think you're conflating two scenes, but we'll get there.
That might be.
That's all. It is normal, but it sounds like it. Just rocks falling from the sky. It was green, though. I love... There's a view when Doctor Who goes to the past, usually much farther back than this, but like medieval or Renaissance people are just like, yeah, you know, that's an alien. Because just the world was so bizarre. If you ever get the chance, you should read some like medieval manuscripts of African animals. because they're often like horribly exaggerated or like a bunch of hearsay. And you're like, I'm pretty sure this is a giraffe, but it's like it has like 10-foot
Yeah, if you
fangs and
described
it's
it to me,
100
dude.
feet tall and eats elephants whole, and it's like the world it flies and breathes fire. It's like, dude,
Even
it's
if
a
you
giraffe.
If you described a giraffe to me without having ever seen
Yeah.
one, I would think you're full of it.
Well, they sound just so like magical and exaggerated. Even some normal thing, just like a hippo, just how big and like aggressive they're described.
Yeah.
It's like the world was so just. It could have been anything there, you know? And I don't think that's better than now, but I do like the take of like the doctors often will get annoyed when they go to around our time when everyone's so like it needs to be proven. And there's good reason for that, right? It's not like an anti-scientific thing. But when you're actually a magic time traveler, it's like, God, I miss the medieval kings where like, well, quite naturally you're from the future, Doctor.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what this guy goes on to do. He's definitely got like a build and a face for villainous characters.
I see. Yeah.
Like even kind of now, he seems a bit sleazy, but he's fantastic in this as brother of mine, I guess is the name. It's a nice invisibility cloak too. Not even imprints from landing legs. We don't have the budget. This is a pretty good set too. They don't use it a lot, but there you go. See, just normal pools of blood. It's 1910, but I do like how proper he is about this whole thing, though. You know,
Yeah.
He's British. By God damn it.
I love Baines, Jeremy Baines.
I'm British. God damn it. That's very important to me. No, they must not have been British. Sounds like they were French.
Oh, there he is. He's a child. I'm used to him playing roles in his 20s.
Well, this would have been 2007,
Yeah.
so like almost 20 years ago.
Gosh.
He might be 30 now. Because he's probably older than he looks. You know.
Yeah.
God, just look at that.
Gosh.
If Harry Potter was like
Tickling.
7 years older, this is Voldemort.
That is
In fact, I wouldn't be
terrifying.
surprised to learn if that guy played young Voldemort. He might be one of the best performed villains. In a franchise that's known for its like over-the-top melodramatic villains, he's a very, very good
He's unsettling.
straight guy. You know, straight villain. Yeah, that was me for like 2 weeks. Good lord, you need new shoes. Look at the bottom of those things.
Oh, he's loving them.
I like how it kind of looked like she was having a rough time on that bike over the rocky dirt. It's like, don't fall, don't fall. Is this the scene?
How's the cabin? I'm gonna
There
read
we
it.
go.
Oh,
Put your cabin in your cabin. So what do you think's going on right now, actually? We're 20 minutes in, and I realize they haven't explained it.
yeah. I actually have no idea, and I kind of am loving it.
I love the TARDIS and sleep mode, I'll call it. How dare this is why she dropped you in racist England. You know? It's like, how does it feel to be on the other end? You know, no. Yeah, 13's TARDIS, for example, looks awful with all the lights off. Most of them do, but this one looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've clearly got some sort of studio light, but still.
I'm very
It
attached to this
works.
TARDIS. I'm most familiar with this one.
It's probably mid-tier, but you know what? It does what it does good. It's the first go, and it's a good first go.
Oh, wait,
Like, my only complaints with this TARDIS are knowing the future sets, you know? No, it's not. That's a watch. Right, so they can smell him across time and space, right?
Yeah.
And that's key. They don't know what he looks like, but they can smell him. Let's keep a pin in this for like an hour from now. See, I told you, this is just what's happening. It was all a dream. Don't worry, that was there the whole time. I think this chameleon arch was introduced in the novel of this story.
Oh, I've heard that.
From this episode, yeah. You might be thinking of the chameleon circuit, which is what the TARDIS uses to disguise itself. So it can't work on humans. I noticed that line because I had a discussion with someone earlier. Could the Doctor turn like Martha into a Time Lord if he wanted? That would solve the whole limited lifespan thing, you know? I mean, there's a lot of reasons the Doctor wouldn't, but I wonder if he could. You can clearly see the sticky note in Gallifreyan too, which is always a nice touch. Wow, everyone's racist in this one. So right here... Oh, never mind. She fixed the audio. Damn Murray Gold. Alright, so this bit here is fun, okay? He had to talk for like 20 minutes or something to get that sped up footage. So the script is what you just heard. And that's like just ramble for 20 minutes. And then start there after like some time. So
that's funny.
You can watch those 20 minutes if you want to. They're on YouTube. It's like the script is like, and then, like, it is Scottish, I'm pretty sure something is like, and then I basically just have to go on about something. And he talks about, I can't remember, but some hilarious random stuff. And at the drop of the hat at one point, he goes, and finally, remember, whatever you do, don't lose that watch. And it's, if you ever have like 20 minutes.
That is funny.
I think it was a special feature on a Blu-ray. I love this office. This is the vibes I always want for my house. In fact, this is what my wife's office looks like, and I'm very jealous. It's much smaller, but... Who was that voice? It feels like it should be a reference, but I don't know it. God, just look at it. I mean, the other guy that you recognize does a really good job too. Mm-hmm. But he is around like some exceptional talent, you know. Yeah. David Tennant, that other guy. A screwdriver. They could have used any footage from a 10th Doctor episode. They're like, all right, David, we need you to kind of swing into camera with the screwdriver and do that a few times across these different walls. Power of it. You could have had the regeneration. Yeah.
No, it was perfect.
If we had Donna, yeah, we had him standing there with like all the fire, in Donna's one with the Sycorax. It's a great effect on the watch too. Oh, there, see?
Yeah.
Any episode. Oh, and Lazarus too. You can't forget about him.
Oh, he's a freaky fella.
Wait, this kid's gonna live long enough to see Lazarus. So, like, do you think he remembers? Like, I remember that guy. It's not gonna go well. Not gonna go well at all. In fact, he's gonna live to see a lot of those. I forgot. I forgot about the little soldiers.
Put my finger on.
Yeah.
It would be cheesy and over the top if he wasn't selling it. So, like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's perfect.
This is perfect. This is Doctor Who. And it's not bad. It's not even bad that often they're, like, over the top.
Yeah.
But every now and then an episode needs, a serious one. And this is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still at the point where it could have been lighthearted, but... I mean, it's from the Virgin New Adventures. It's gonna be, like, adult and dark, is a rule. I really need to get into those, but they're hard to buy. You can only get them secondhand, and it's like 50 to 80, and then there's another range of books after that. But they're real good. Well, I mean, there's good and bad, but the good ones are real good.
Yeah.
You ever watch The X-Files? No. I'm vaguely aware of it, though. I always find this so weird of, like, the just normal military trainings in schools.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about England, though. Is this actually a military school? I assume this is standard private school stuff, right?
That could be a military, I guess.
But they're also learning just normal stuff, It's a boarding school, obviously, but...
Yeah.
And also, it's like 1910. You kind of thought wars were basically, like, done, right? Other than, of course, colonizing, but... You got a machine gun. You don't really need to train to take over Africa. As he points out, they just got some spears. Maybe we shouldn't colonize the world.
He's having war flashbacks.
He's having war premonitions.
Ah.
That'll help him. Just beat him up.
Gosh.
Did you just sniff me? I'll give you a beating now. Could you imagine that? He just, like, socks him in the face after telling him to go beat that kid. I do love the honest take on this very recent history, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Also, there's a green flag on this castle way above that Union Jack. I know we're not at sea, but I'm going to call it a Union Jack. She's right, and this episode does great takes. Great, what's the word? Critiques. That almost feels too light. Of colonialism, of war, of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But also, maybe don't work at the military school. I don't know. Maybe she worked there already. Well, naturally.
I love these costumes. Oh my gosh.
It's the BBC, Anything like over 100 years ago, the farther back you go, the better they get at period costumes.
Look at that coat.
If you haven't clocked on it, we're just before World War I. It's next year, yeah. It was a bad dream. I would kind of like some perspective. I don't know where you'd fit it, but these people who got the glimpses of the future through the Doctor, and like how they dealt with it. Big Finish. There's a
Yeah.
great short story. Is like that kid we're seeing now, coming out of World War One, knowing that World War Two is about to happen or something like that. You know.
Hmm.
I think there's a great storytelling potential there.
He's a crack shot.
I do love as well. This is like, there's still some Time Lord in the Doctor. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever seen the Doctor do anything like this. I can only think of one instance, and it's an audio drama where the 10th Doctor is trying to, like, pay for some snacks in the most Rube Goldberg way ever.
She was nowhere near that piano.
I
That
mean,
would've
she
fallen
did
before she got
stop,
there.
though. It might, the shrapnel,
Mm.
No. Could you imagine? You'd never recover from that. I don't care how secure you are, you'd never recover. I imagine this is just a conversation every Doctor Who actor has with, like, anyone.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they're played a lot. I know the third Doctor was explicitly told to play it as himself, and so he just became, like, an idealized version of himself. And so many of the Doctors put so much of them in the character. The fourth Doctor,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, there's always something of the actor in them, but yes. I'm Scottish, believe it or not. This is fun here. So Sidney Newman and Verity Lambert were two of the key people in the creation of Doctor Who. Sidney Newman had the idea. I don't remember his role, but I think he was head of drama at the BBC. And Verity Lambert was the first producer.
Aww,
So his mom and
that's
dad
sweet.
are Sidney and Verity, which is fun. You'll actually see, if you look out, Sidney and Verity come up a lot as random male-female names for that reason.
Mm.
I didn't get a good look at the drawing. I don't know. I don't think she does look like that, really.
Close enough.
It'd be shorter to have a list of things this episode didn't critique. I can see why it was the best novel, though, I will say that.
Mm.
And it's a hell of an open for, again, such a strong string of episodes.
Yeah.
I'm sure nothing could go wrong. Oh, no, of course not. I was almost going to say, is this the first time we see the Doctor kiss? But, like, not even in Modern Who, let alone the movie. Sometimes I have those thoughts. I'm like, oh, yeah, no. It's all just in my head, like, happening together, and I've got to put them in the timeline, right? I think, I saw someone point out with this episode, why doesn't Martha just hold on to the watch, right?
Yeah.
I guess maybe they think she'd steal it? Like a black serving girl in 1910 with a fancy watch? But they didn't know that was going to happen, right? I don't know.
Why can't you just leave it in the TARDIS?
I had that thought too, is it'd be like super crazy safe.
Yeah.
But then it's not on hand, and maybe that is important, Like,
Yeah,
if they
that's
came. But I also had the thought, why not just stay in the TARDIS?
Yeah.
Can the family of blood really get in there, Just, I don't think you should think too much about the logistics of this episode, If it's a fault, oh god. If it's a faulty premise, there's such a strong episode built on top of it, I can get past it, you know?
Yeah.
And even then, it's like, I'm sure there could be explanations for this, you know? Or just, I didn't think, you know? Okay, I do have concerns about these scarecrows, though, especially that first one. Why is it already covered in blood? Like, the ropes and stuff have super dry blood. It's a scarecrow.
It's just the blood rope was cheaper than the normal rope at the store.
Actually, that's a very good reason. Let's not question why the store has blood rope.
Yeah, it's just discounted. No questions. Better price.
Like, does the factory blood it, or was there some accident, you know?
You're not supposed to ask, otherwise you lose the discount.
Otherwise this guy comes out. He's like, you know what? I'll take the blood rope. God, I'm gonna look what this guy's done. He's just so you know what? I bet this guy would make an amazing master.
He's freaky. I love him, actually.
If we get a deranged master, this is what I want from him. Because I really don't like the modern master take. And as we'll get over the course of the next year. Henry Lloyd. Pardon me? No, it looks like he does acting. Okay. These are his only Doctor Who episodes, naturally.
That's not blood.
David Copperfield, Goodbye Mr. Chips, Robin Hood, Game of Thrones, not surprised, Great Expectations, The Hollow Crown, The Theory of Everything, Anthropoid is what TARDIS Wiki list is notable. Oh, he played a Targaryen in Game of Thrones. I'm going to look up that Targaryen. Oh, I thought that was that room. She's just going to sniff. Oh, I don't recognize him from Game of Thrones, but actually I kind of do. I had no interest in Game of Thrones until it became really bad. And everyone was talking about how bad it was. Then I was very piqued by interest, and I got it 3 for university, and I basically binged the whole thing, knowing that it was going to be bad and why it was going to be bad. And I was like, I think you're kind of overreacting, honestly. But it was so weird. I didn't care until everyone hated it and no one cared. Then I was like, oh. That's how I take mine. Oh, Martha, stop. I know. No one ever makes tea like I like it.
Mother's more expressive than the other ones.
Are you kidding? Jeremy Baines over there.
No, but he's like expressive in the most non-expressive, terrifying way.
I think non-expressive. I think I get what you're going for, but non-expressive is not the word.
Yeah, but like... That one's got human expressions, kind of. Jeremy Baines does not have human expressions.
Aw, shucks. I always do this one. Wait, he's got an old photo. Where'd he get that? I mean, I guess it's just going to be black and white. Never mind. It just looks aged. Jenny's another name you get a lot. I forgot about this bit. I just love there's a lot of great good. I like all the layers that it's funny that, you know, she's right. But also the racial elements, all of that, there's...
Yeah.
It manages to make a racist scene actually funny, but in a way that works.
Yeah.
And in a meta sense, it's not coming off as racist. The show. Obviously, the his assumptions are, but the show itself is not.
Yeah.
I had forgot who had the watch. I was about to ask. I remembered. Wait, I like how she checks the doctor's coat. I mean, I guess what else would you do? But
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably would have left it in the TARDIS, but that's hindsight. In all likelihood, they never would have showed up at all, you know?
I really like this premise. I don't remember any of it. Jeez.
I would be
That was a
interested to
lot.
see it from the Seventh Doctor, though, because he's very actually the ending just makes a lot more sense now with 7, come to think of it. But he's sort of the master manipulator type, especially in the books. He's probably the darkest incarnation. He'll cross lines, you know. He is. I could have a lot of thoughts on the Seventh Doctor, but I don't think this is the part to push him.
Yeah, the Doctor dances a lot.
Jaxlar, sorry, I'm not paying a lot of attention to chat today. Yeah, I can say I barely use the YouTube analytics I have, let alone what's there, what I could use to track viewers. But I don't know. I hardly run this channel optimally. I just do what I want, you know. Imagine a world though where like he didn't go to the dance though, you know.
Yeah.
They just all show up. It's like, oh. Wait, was that November 11th? Isn't that Armistice Day, but not yet?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's intentional. I do like Martha, though. She's so done now. It's like, right, I'm ready to go. Doctor, you're taking me to the future? What's that? I'm getting trapped in 1920s New York? Oh. Martha probably has the worst time as a companion since, like, Perry. And I guess that kind of makes sense, but still.
It's just so over it. I love that.
I think in this, I would have had a lot of people glancing at the black woman and the white woman at the table. Is like a subtle sign of the times, you know? Maybe it's too distracting, but you know. I'm just better than you.
This is so ominous.
Oh, that's what she was looking for, not the watch. That makes sense. Herbert. Wait, what's that prop? Look at that. It's got a weird button. That's not what it looks like, is it? On the side. That usually doesn't face the camera. Like,
looking.
So I had a sonic screwdriver pen as a kid, and it had but it where the thing is that's weird, I had a button that I could like slide up and down. So I'm wondering, does the Sonic actually look like that, or is that some he shot him right in the dick, man? Is that some like behind the scenes thing so they can actually like, is that the charging port? You know what I mean? Oh my god, it's the charging port, isn't it? Because it was a little circular.
It could be. I guess, yeah, I wonder if it's, or is it battery operated?
No, because you'd have to open it. I do always like in these old-timey episodes, it's very subtle, but people usually don't react to a space gun until it's fired. Because, like, why would you? What the hell? Like, it kind of looks like a pistol, but that one's so weird. I mean, even now, if someone pulled, like, a laser gun on me, I'd be like, is that supposed to be some kind of laser gun? He is so good.
Yeah,
It's not just his face,
all
it's
the
the way
acting
he
stuff was
delivers
good.
his lines.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the other people playing the family, honestly. You know, someone pointed out on Reddit, they said that the Family of Blood was one of the most iconic villains and they're shocked they haven't returned. And a lot of reaction, including for me, was like, I don't know, the family itself, like, they're well acted, but they're pretty, they could be anyone, you know?
Yeah.
They just need to be the alien threat. But Baines is so good, I can kind of see, like, he doesn't need to come back, but I get the desire for more.
Yeah.
You know what? I said he could make a good master. I bet if he's got range too, he could make a good doctor.
Yeah.
Because there's a rule that once it's pointed out to you, you clock. Oh wow, yeah. Sorry, this was a two-parter. There's a rule that there'll be a brief intermission, as I mentioned, of course. Every good doctor, a good doctor should be able to play a great villain. So here a lot this comes up is David Tennant would have made a great master. You know, yada yada, or stuff like that. Matt Smith would have, and they do. Like David Tennant's played villains. I'm sure Matt Smith probably plays villains. I just don't see much. And if you look at the doctors who often aren't as widely acclaimed, like the Fifth, for example, who's still good, mind you. He's a very nice person. You know, the Fifth Doctor. I'm sure like he could probably play a villain, but it's not gonna, unless he has range I don't know about. It's not gonna be like Bates, you know, or some legendary performance. Hang on, let me get episode 9. What are you thinking so far then?
I'm actually really liking this. Yeah, this is definitely a really good one. I love the premise.
Yes.
I don't remember like nearly any of it, so that's helping.
We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet.
It's just crazy. I feel like they're most of the way through. But all the two-parters, it's so weird how the first parter, I feel like they've basically ran through everything. But then the second parter is like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. They needed a second part.
Oh, yeah, no. I think the second parts generally are stronger episodes.
But in my head, it's like, there's only like 10 more minutes of story left. What could they pull out of this?
Can you turn on your mic or cam? Oh, no, my mic is good. Shoot, I got totally derailed. I'm amazed this is one of the episodes you don't remember though. Like Human Nature, Family of Blood.
I'm remembering weirdly though. I'm remembering a number of shots, but not even the story contained within them or the characters or any of it.
So here's the thing: classic Doctor Who, you know, for the first 26 seasons, well, okay, that's a bit oversimplification. The standard format for like most of classic Who was a 4-parter. These are the episodes that generally there's very little padding, and the best written ones are like no padding. It's a format that works well, and there's a structure to the 4-part story. Like they arrive at a location and kind of explore. The threat reveals itself at the end. I don't remember the exact structure. But there's a standard structure, and that's for 22-minute episodes, or about an hour and a half. And so the 2-part modern episode is also about an hour and a half. They're about the same length. And 4-parters, a single-part modern story, so 45 minutes, a little longer than a 2-part classic story. Just don't have the depth to really explore a lot of those issues. Don't get me wrong, there are amazing ones. I mean, Heaven Sent is a 45-minute one. Blink's 45 minutes. You can absolutely tell a good one. But, and not every story needs the extra length. But those 2-parters often get the depth. And, you know, when you're writing the show, you need to justify your second part to like Russell or the BBC or, you know, someone high up. So they're usually going to be a story that needs it and isn't just like, yeah, I'll fill 2 parts. So, and it's good. You notice, especially in the extended media stuff, the 45-minute like Big Finish just always feels too short. Even then, a lot of their modern Doctors, Big Finish will take up to an hour. That's still not a classic Who, but it's longer, and it just gives them, I mean, almost 20 minutes to breathe. But even then, sometimes, especially a mid-Big Finish, it can be like, God, we're wrapping up? And I don't know if it's just because I expect, like, a hour and a half. I mean, there are great, six-parters. There's great longer ones, and there are good shorter ones. But Doctor Who really seems to lend itself to about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Or, a short movie. So, like, the specials are often good because they're
Yeah.
hour and a half. Yes, I have got to go to the bathroom, refill my water bottle. If you could entertain people for a bit for our intermission.
Yeah, and then I'll trade you places
Yep.
after that.
All right, go talk. You need an episode. What's an
Actually,
episode?
no, I already know what I'm going to talk about.
Yes.
Don't even worry. But you give me an episode too.
No, you talk about it. I don't think I'll be that long.
Well, so there's a fun fact that I learned, viewers at home. I don't ever have the stream pulled up. I don't actually know if anyone's ever here, but did you know Doctor Who was originally?
Hang on. Wait, yeah, no, they can't see that. Hang on. I didn't just show like a stream key or something. Hang on. No, there's like, there you go. Now you can see the chat.
Oh well, two concurrent viewers, guys, you two, let's sit around in a circle time and have a moment together. I'm gonna let you get situated. Come here, you, Jackslaw, scoot in a little bit. Thank you. Okay. Did you guys know that Doctor Who was originally named Doctor Blue when they were creating the entire story together, and it made it all the way into post-production? Dr. Blue was going to be kind of like a Blue Man Group member. He was going to be completely naked, completely blue, painted head to toe, because he was an alien. That's what a Time Lord. They didn't want this guy to look human, so he was Dr. Blue. And who are you? And he'd be like, well, I'm Dr. Blue. And then they'd go and they'd travel the universe, all those sorts of things. But right when they made it up to post-production, there were two simultaneous crazy events that just happened. And it was one, in a very important memo to the head of BBC, in a very important phone call, they said Dr. Blue, and the guy went, Doctor Who? That's a stupid name, but I trust you because they're really close friends. And so they wrote down for the schedule that they sent out to everyone, Doctor Who. And so the art department started freaking out. Doctor Who? Now he's just who's Doctor Who? Who is this guy? He's going to have no character identity. It's going to be a nightmare. This show's going to tank. And then right when they painted, they just got back after this phone call. Dr. Blue shot the first episode and they went, guys, we have a problem. And then the production team was like, we have a problem too. It's Doctor Who. We need to rebrand. It's Dr. Blue is no more. And they're like, this is great because we forgot that televisions don't have color. And so he's just Dr. Gray. Blue doesn't exist on color TVs. We can't have a blue guy.
I heard Doctor Who was originally, God, I'm probably going to have to do some correction. And I sat down here and I realized what you were doing.
Yeah, I'm telling them the truth. So there were two mistakes that gave us the Doctor Who that we have today. Because it used to be, going to be Doctor Who.
The actor you hired happened to be ill and could only do 3 years.
Yeah, you can. I'm sure you know more about the history. I'll let you tell them about that as I go get my glass of water.
Actually, because of course Doctor Who's history is massive. If you want a good retrospective, a good history, I recommend Clever Dick Films on YouTube. He does retrospective videos on so far the first 11th Doctors, and like it's the history, it's the Doctors, it's their era. A lot of my behind-the-scenes stuff comes from that. For the 8th Doctor, he also does the Wilderness Years, they're called. It's like Big Finish, the novels. His 12th Doctor one should be coming out soon, but I've been thinking that for a year. He's definitely working on it. But that's a very good documentary series. Of just like someone who likes making little films. Yeah, do I have anything else? I don't know. I don't want to talk about the spoilery stuff for next season. I could talk about how we're still not sure if we're getting a Christmas special this year, which is a bit weird. Because Disney's dragging their feet on renewing it. I didn't announce that. That was news. So Disney finally told us, not the figures for Doctor Who, but the 15th Doctor stuff was the biggest show on Disney Plus every single week that it aired. And globally, across all streaming platforms, it was the #1 in-demand show for the under 35s, which is always the big demographic, because that's the one that are going to grow up and have a fandom and show their kids stuff. So Doctor Who's doing exceptionally well as far as Disney's concerned, and it's stupid cheap for them. That's just how streaming is. They're slow to renew. But we've had Christmas specials turn around that quickly before. So it's definitely doable, but a lot of people are worried that Christmas will be canceled this year. And yeah, I hope we get one. I want yearly Who proper. I don't think this 5 episodes of a spinoff is really going to fill it for me. I hope Russell can get fulfill that promise of his. What's my favorite color? Tobide, I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, or how you can tell me how to pronounce it. But, I'm bad with favorites. I'm bad, right? I don't know. I just don't favorite often. It's why I debated so long, even if I would make a list ranking the Doctors. Like, I don't know if that video will come out. Who did I even put? Oh yeah, that was tough. But I'm sorry if it feels like I'm just missing the question. I don't favorites. Like, what's your favorite food? I don't have one. I don't know. I'm boring.
That makes sense. I realized I remembered.
Yeah.
I came back. Well, this is part of the history. I thought you.
Quick announcement. We'll probably be resuming the episode in the next 5 minutes or so. So maybe don't go too far, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, it's in between the first and the second Doctor, when they were going to regenerate and they realized they were going to do new actors. They were going to rebrand back, but since it was still black and white, what's the name of the first Doctor? I
William Hartnell.
William Hartnell. So he was reminiscing in his Dr. Blue costume, but the paint was so old at this point that it was goopy, and they pushed for a rebrand for Doctor Goo, but the BBC wouldn't go for it because Doctor Who started taking off.
If you want actually that early history of Doctor Who, it's dramatized, but what's it called? An Adventure in Time and Space and Time. I don't remember the order. With what's his face? The Harry Potter caretaker.
Oh yeah, I don't know his name.
Oh God. But anyway, it's about the the making of Doctor Who in the first Doctor's era. So it goes through the regeneration of Patrick Troughton. That's very good. That's very good. That's a tearjerker. It's like David something, isn't it? What's his? God, he does some Big Finish too. Big guy. He plays the first Doctor in a lot of modern stuff.
David Bradley.
Thank you, David Bradley. Yes.
God.
You get blocked sometimes for talking too much. I have until you guys misbehave. There is a limit on how fast you can send messages, but it's 1 second. And the theory going, if someone ever comes with like a spam bot, that's manageable, right? But you should never actually encounter the 1 second limit. And so unless it gets abused, like, that's fine for me. Were you here when I said the statistics? Disney announced statistics.
Yes.
So that's
was
good.
The top.
Good news.
Yeah.
All the discussion about the fear of cancellation is pretty much stopped on the Doctor Who Reddit, weirdly enough. It was such a depressing place. Everyone was talking about the show was going to be canceled, despite all the evidence to the contrary. And it's almost like when the people were telling us the show was a massive success, that it was a massive success or something. Who would know? Anyway, I think we get back started. I'm going to wake up my hard drive. Don't hit play. You're going to see the time bar move. I'm just going to make sure that hard drive isn't make.
Good thing to remember.
Okay, we're good. It's reminded me, don't skip the previously on, because we just can't sync that up, right? So stay the previously on. But yeah, we're going to do the same countdown as before. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And on go, everybody is going to hit play. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I was like, we actually might have an audience for the next month because, as I said, this is a string of good episodes. Like, people are going to be here for Blink.
And then we'll transition into the new season, and within we'll already have so many people.
The interesting one will be the finale, because of course it's a Russell T Davies finale. People have complaints. I think it might, weirdly enough, be the most hated of his original run. Hated might be too strong, but you know. We haven't talked about it, but I do like the Scarecrow monsters. I mean, they're a very distinct style, but you know, rural England, it's part of that really normal thing, you know, that you've made a monster, fun for the kids. I mean, fun for us, but that's a big part of Doctor Who, of course.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't even realize Martha was being held at gunpoint.
Those guns just look like big shrimp. I can't stop imagining it.
Doctor Who cliffhangers. Don't take them seriously.
I don't know where they're gonna go with this episode. I don't know what they're gonna do. How's the Doctor gonna?
I mean, it's. I think it's. You could guess it, but
probably. I'm a genius.
I don't know this. It suits it. I mean, it's a good show. I can see it suiting itself to a book, because it is. It's a very talky second part, which you might not expect.
Yeah.
But maybe you do. I don't know. Talky episodes are good. Whenever we talk about those concepts I want, they're always like my favorite one I said, where it's just the people sitting in a room. And like the whole episode is one conference about like, do we declare war or something, you know?
Yeah.
You remember that one? Or even the one I said where it's like, I just want to see these people react to like World War I's done, but I know about Hitler, you know?
Yeah. Man.
If you actually want this sort of thing, by the way, Big Finish's Short Trips range has some real good ones that stuff like that. Especially for the third Doctor.
Man. Such a freaky actor.
Stu what? Sorry?
The actor for this, for the Family of Blood. Yeah, it's so much control in those lower eyelids.
Those lower, I'll have to pay attention.
The top ones are glued to the top of his
We talked about it before. It's such an accepted fact, though. The period pieces are just always so good at the BBC.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that is just the BBC and the institution, but also the combination of being in England, which has a lot of historic buildings you can just use.
Yeah.
An American production couldn't just go to the 1,000-year-old church, you know? God, he has just a death glare. You have to give
he's so freaky.
You have to give Martha credit though. She really does take action. Like when the episode lets her get in the action, she does. And she could do it. Your rubbish is a human side.
Yeah, that's really, I like the dynamic too, because Martha is good. I really like Martha as a companion. When a companion,
Martha's
one of the Doctor's powerless.
Kind of the Doctor in this one, you know.
Yeah, I like that dynamic. He is just useless.
I'd be really curious to see what the companion Benny did in the books. Benny's a novel-only companion. Imagine River Song, but first and not in love with the Doctor. That's basically Benny. I'm sorry if that's a disservice to Benny. I have not consumed a lot of Benny media, but essentially, she's like a future archaeologist. You know, she's River, but doesn't love the Doctor. But Benny definitely, from what I gather, she is guys more action-oriented-y, if that makes sense. She would get in there like Martha. But I also don't think it's out of character for Martha at all. So obviously the racial elements are new, But that aside, I wonder how much of this was just copy pasted for Benny, or if they properly rewrote for Martha.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess at some level, every companion is sort of similar, you know? They
Yeah,
have to be the kind of person who would
they
want
fill
to
that
be a companion.
role. Yeah.
But, oh, I guess the Doctor is the last Time Lord. Was gonna say of all the Time Lords, you really had to pick the one on like life 10, but yeah, you know, if you've got a short lifespan
Slim
anyway,
pickings.
I would pick the one with like no regenerations left. That's still a few centuries. I mean, he does kind of have a point. If you just accept the fact that you can use violence to defend yourself, they're like 4 dudes. They're very well armed.
Yeah.
Just imagine this guy. Sir, Jeremy Baines is attacking the school. That's why we need these Gatling guns. It's like, sir, get a yardstick, you know? A meter stick, I'm sorry. Just give him a good thwacking. Smith, what did you put in my drink last night? Actually, I fired her, but... Actually, I'm thinking, do we see any servants beside Martha and her friend?
I don't recall any.
You don't really need them, but I guess that's interesting to know. I suppose unless you're in like the kitchens or something, the servants are more not seen. They're in the background, you know. Oh, we got sexism too. God, I love just his delivery of everything. Oh, he said it. We were all drunk, you know? You could see this though, right? Like the news story 100 years ago where like they got drunk at a dance.
Yeah.
Sorry, look at that scarecrow. He's like, dude. And then like at least there's some sort of Gatling gun arming of the local school. Come to think of it, actually, this is like a Second Amendment dream come true, isn't it? Just you have the Gatling gun room at the school.
Yeah. He said the thing.
Yeah, I've never really been a fan of the name.
Me neither, but I'll
Like,
let this guy get
why
past.
are they the family of blood? Like, so am I. Most families are, you know? Do you think he gets tired, like, doing this all day?
I don't know.
It's gotta be,
Good at
like, a workout.
It's gotta be like
Actually,
intense.
you know what I've
to
just realized?
Stare that hard.
Does he ever blink? As
Good question.
the alien.
Not often.
There's a Star Trek actor, a guy who plays a Klingon who's famous for never blinking, but he opens his eyes as wide as possible. And he's got like 2-minute uncut scenes of none blinking. It's just, once you notice, it hurts. It's like, please blink.
I don't think now I'm gonna be paying attention though.
He's just so captivating.
Yeah.
I mean, it works though. I've never noticed he doesn't blink, but it adds so much to the character.
Yeah. It's a subconscious.
Yeah.
You can feel that stare.
And like, I know he stares, but I never clocked he never blinks. It's such the old-timey, like, just before World War One, where war was still alright. Everyone show up at the hill, both sides, and then we'll build our little sand forts. And then once we're all ready, you let us know when you're done. We'll wait. We'll have a good go at just shooting each other, you know. And
Yeah.
then once we're done, we're done. We'll declare a winner, you know. You can just raise your hand, and we'll be off. Thank you. We'll do the same. Because it's like the aliens are even just letting them, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, why not? It's not like they can do anything, but... What do you think his audition was? He just walks in the room, you're hired.
Just stares them all down.
He didn't even say a word. He just stood there.
Yeah, unblinking for 20 minutes. This is the guy we need. Okay, how many... Does he take control of scarecrows that already exist? How many scarecrows? At a certain point.
You know what? You're right.
Out,
They're
right?
all the same scarecrow.
They're all the same
I don't
scarecrow.
think we ever talk about how he does either. I guess that is pretty threatening if you can make an army out of... But you got a point. Are scarecrows really that homogenous?
There's only so many out there, you know?
I've always found the concept of
You're telling me there's that
weird.
many fields.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is actually getting a bit... Maybe they just, like, copied them. They built them themselves, you know?
They collected hay. They made one. Go make others. They have a supply chain.
The gray goo, but it's scarecrows. I've never really understood the concept of a scarecrow. Because, like, maybe for, like, a season it'll work. But, like, birds evolve. There's no way that works. If you really have your whole country covered in scarecrows.
Yeah.
I do love as well how they've made all the pictures crooked because Martha's looking for the watch. Is it behind this picture, but not all the way, just in the corner?
Well, that one's straight. Watch must be behind it.
Well, she hasn't checked them. I do love this line coming up here. One sec. Not that one, but this one. Bet that was hard to remember. That response there, the yes to pass my exams, it's such a, like... Well, yeah, actually, you did read it in a book.
Yeah.
Like, so did you. It's just such a good response to the... Oh, you know, you're not smart enough because you're black. It's like, to prove it. It's like, write a book. Well, so did you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
What's the scene direction for this? We're going to turn on this green light. Just
well, it's don't show that he's in front of the TARDIS. I like Colonel Mustard as well. He's got the look of a fun character. He's distinct.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's so many like incredible actors on this set.
Yeah.
But he's also doing a great job. He's just not the next level of like David Tennant and Jeremy Baines and like.
Yeah.
Honestly, Angela Freeman even is like really killing it as Martha. Are you being converted to the Martha was great and the Doctor did a massive disservice and the show wasted her club? Because honestly,
well, I mean,
might be.
I don't think she's wasted yet. I think I might get there because she's had a lot of really good moments. I feel like more than Rose.
Remember like 42, she just spent the time in an airlock. Or
well, that one
like
did happen.
They often lock her away, you know. The first half of the season is rough for Martha. And even this one, she's got to go be, like, discriminated against. And in the next one, she's got to be, like, a dinner lady in New York. It's like, please, you made Rose be a dinner lady for, like, a day. That's it.
Yeah.
Not to mention he still keeps going off over Rose. Even in the book, Rose was the only companion that gets a mention.
Yeah.
It is interesting as well seeing someone with sort of the base personality of a doctor, if not all their experiences,
Yeah.
go through these moral dilemmas that, the doctor early on would have done and come to the, like, no, I can just not use the Gatling gun. I can be the doctor in a way, The more we spend around this kid, I do kind of get why he's a bit of a misfit. He just says all this weird crap. Like that 9 has that line as well with the Daleks. They're like, coward or killer? It's like, coward any day.
Yeah.
Hang on, is John Smith basically going through the arc that 9 did?
Condensed.
Very condensed. And of course it was 7's first, so. God, I would have loved to see the 7th Doctor in this, because Sylvester McCoy probably could have done this real... I mean, David Tennant's doing great, but... The 7th Doctor's kind of got an exaggerated personality, if that makes sense. And so, where David Tennant's very emotional and teary when he's going over the turmoil, I could see the 7th Doctor, like, absolutely just kind of mentally losing it. Not necessarily getting angry, but, like, essentially going insane about what he has to do.
Yeah.
That was the clip! I said, you want to show how powerful the Doctor is, using exactly that clip. Hilarious. Okay, you're forgiven. Did they genuinely not have enough, like, imposing shots of the 10th Doctor? He's the king of the middle distance. Like, come on. No second chances? That's a great scene you could have done.
Oh, man, they go kill all of the nation's scarecrows.
There's a horrible crow
Consequently,
infestation.
yeah.
It'll be the biggest problem of next year. Nothing could possibly top this.
A famine.
Yeah. This whole scene, by the way, is very well done coming up. I mean, not even coming up, just now. I wonder if the original book had a lot of this anti-war, anti-World War I stuff. This book probably costs like $500 on eBay because it's human nature, but I think you can get ebooks of them, by the way, if you really wanted to read them.
Man, yeah, this scene is tough. Dang. Look at all these guns in these kids' hands and let them mow down fields of totally not people.
Could you imagine this scene, but like something that bled? You couldn't broadcast that.
No, that's...
And John Smith just slowly kind of realizing what he's got to do as well. The choir music. It worked, though.
It did.
Even that
they were able to slaughter them all with
desperately trying to be like,
weight.
So we didn't actually do anything. Well, there's definitely emotional weight behind that, like, shaky. So, like, we're not actually bad people, right? But...
Yeah.
It sounds weird, but I almost feel like people should be a little worse to Martha as she gets more and more bold. But
yeah.
I don't know. What even is today for these people? Yeah, there he goes. These children, though, they got a penis. So, like... You gotta respect those kids, though, who are all firmly gripping that Gatling gun. They're ready to fire. Could you imagine if they did, actually? Well, like, it would work, right? Because they said earlier that these are just, like, fleshy humans. Like, obviously,
I think it would work.
The image is bad, But it would work. Could you imagine? It's like, wow. I mean, yeah, those guys were there. They would have just come and had revenge, but like right now, they're happy to let all the kids live. They don't care.
Mm.
Oh, see, there's still more.
I love the little run.
I hope sometime after this episode, there was like, I don't know, a college or something that got like 100 people dressed as scarecrows like that, you know?
I want an unbroken 15-minute shot.
Guys, you can smell it too. Well, yeah, that's what the book had. It was longer. There was a whole chapter of this. I like how it says male voice. No, that's David Tennant. Like, I'm pretty
Right
sure
enough.
that's the doctor, you know. Someone's like, God, I can't make that out. Who is it? I don't know. It sounds like David Tennant. No, David Tennant's Scottish. It's not David Tennant. Have you gotten to the scene, by the way? I think you're coming up
No.
on the one. You're wrong, what you described, but I think...
I believe so.
I think what you're remembering is coming up. See, even Colonel Mustard here does
How
a
did they
good,
get that there?
like, imposing villain, you know? Get rid of Bates, and this guy's probably the best one, you know?
Yeah.
I also respect that you haven't reacted at all to the fact I keep calling him Colonel Mustard.
No, I had a good chuckle the first time.
Okay.
You were making a good point on something. I don't remember what. They had to move that thing with multiple people. TARDIS cannot be light.
Well, it's as heavy as it needs to be, you know? There's even a line at some point. Like, if the TARDIS landed with its real weight, it'd, like, be a black hole and crush the Earth. So, that'd be bad. I do love this. I mean, you don't get to see David Tennant like this at all in Doctor Who, really, so... Even Martha's, like, upset about this, you know? And Martha wants the guy she loves back. So I think this is the first time Martha's kind of realizing that John Smith is a person.
Hmm.
Three, that's all it needs. I actually do wonder, have we seen them be dangerous? They killed Colonel Mustard, but there was like 20 of them, right?
Yeah.
I don't actually...
They don't seem like much of a threat right now.
What could some straw do to me? I think we needed a little... I mean, I guess...
I could defeat some straw.
Martha and co doesn't know that there's only 3 straw people, but...
Yeah.
Well, that's some, like, Harry Potter music right there. Here he goes. Is this the house
It might be this. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Lit in the moonlight.
Actually, yeah, this is all really good night filming, especially for standard definition.
Yeah. It might be this.
Very little color noise.
I thought it was.
Although this is the Blu-ray
voice
that we're watching, so it's been remastered, but...
Hmm.
Nice house, too. Even just a little bit of the house, there's just... Like, that's dark and unnecessary, but it adds to the whole story.
Yeah.
And even the resolutions we're building to, like... This was... I can see that this was a killer novel.
Hmm.
And I don't usually like hearing different versions of stories I've heard before. Because, like, I know the story of human nature, but... Good answer. Welcome to what's probably going to be a pretty silent.
Yeah, I
episode.
love David Tennant getting the opportunity to use this
Oh,
corner of his range.
Brilliant actor. I mean, you get the 10th Doctor upset, but never like this.
Yeah.
Even when Rose dies, he doesn't really have anyone to... Well, dies. He doesn't really have anyone to talk about, you know. See, what a weird dude. He's right,
he's great.
But he is, and he's right. But just take yourself out of the context of watching Doctor Who. It's like, what the hell are you...
I'd be his friend.
He's an inspiration to us all, really. Oh, this is like a Moffat explanation. I mean, honestly, if I had seen the Time War, yeah. I've just realized there's like 10 pages in that journal. Did you see that?
Yeah, but did you see how layered every one of those pages were? Words on words on pictures.
Yeah, and they were written very bizarrely. If you only had 10 pages, you were writing very big.
That's basically Crash Landing.
I just realized I don't think we've seen the Doctor do art before. I assume that's like a Doctor skill.
No, that crossed my mind, but yeah, like he's probably picked that up. I was thinking about that when he was drawing.
Even in the classics, just like an establishing shot where the 4th Doctor's doing a painting, I could see it. Actually, I could see a gag where the 4th Doctor is doing a painting, but it's like a child fridge painting, you know? He's like, well, nobody's perfect, you know? I did fast forward through like 20 minutes though, so. It's such a good dissection of the Doctor as well. I can really actually see this working so much more for the 7th Doctor, I will admit, who was back when like no hanky-panky in the TARDIS days. But still, it's like such a... It's almost as well the Doctor himself just like ripping his own psyche apart and like the Doctor put John Smith in this position, you know?
Yeah.
7 wouldn't have bat an eye. I really see this as a 7. If he does, we'll just ignore it, you know. Did he have a bit of a look when Martha said I love him to bits that was like a black man and a white... What?
I didn't clock it.
I'm probably reading too much into it, but he did go from like fear to like what? You know? I mean, if anything, I think it kind of helps with the whole vibe of the era, but...
Oh man.
Yeah, no,
yeah. The range of acting in this whole episode across the board is so good.
As I said, it's Star Trek and Doctor Who for me. So like, I recognize David Tennant's an exceptional actor, and I'm sure you see this a lot from him. But this is, yeah, it's something I don't get to see a lot, and it's brilliant. I take it back actually. David Tennant is a like 7 and 10 both have amazing things they could put to this episode, but I think I'd prefer the David Tennant version to the Sylvester McCoy. We could probably do a watch through of this, but focusing on each character and like still have loads of new things. And so that's what we'll do now. You know what? We haven't talked about her, but this actress is doing great
really
too,
good.
You know. Everyone, this is a great cast.
Yeah.
I'd like a watch like that. Sorry to kill the moment. Oh my god, they straightened his hair.
Oh, more.
That boy and girl, they remind me of the boy and girl from the library two-parter, remember? And I wonder if it's the same, just like generic boy and girl.
Generic. They just have one in storage.
Yeah, the BBC.
He's old.
That's good age-up makeup, though. I don't see the seams.
It's not bad.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna look like that when he's 90,
Yeah.
but it's very well applied. They always go over the board, though, so you know they're old.
Yeah.
And then he regenerates. No. He can't regenerate. I knew that when I made the joke the first time.
It dies. It just hits on
Yeah, just that's
the
in the alternate universe. That was it. Could you imagine? And then it's just 10, 13 minutes of black.
It's just, the smoking ruins.
I'd love a fan edit of that scene. It just blows up. But I could. I won't do that. No.
That's the one thing. Anything else?
Yeah. Do you think you might stop him from doing that? Like, dude, do you know how long it takes to straighten those? Oh my god, he opened his eyes.
How are his eyes?
Imagine that. That's basically Gowron in Star Trek I was telling you about. And he does like 5-minute scenes like that.
Man.
And you have to think, he does multiple takes, surely, right? Like, this might be 2 hours in.
Yeah.
And I'd be so stressed acting next to that guy. It's like, oh man, sorry, I flubbed the line. I know you did your 2-minute take, but... Okay, right? Olfactory misdirection, okay? Could he have just done that from the start?
No, it was a... wait a minute.
Yeah. It seemed so simple, you know? That was the reason for all this. Also, that really bothers me, right? Surely they know that's the controls for their ship, right? We didn't. But even you laughed at him. Like,
well, it's not very subtle.
I get they're focused, but imagine if instead he, like, suddenly smashed his hands on the keyboard. You'd be like, dude, that's the keyboard for my engines.
Okay, I could see if they smelt him, but they thought they were smelling the watch.
Good look. Was that practical? Surely not. It might have been a mix, but they were close.
Large.
You could probably... I don't know. Did it light them well? The mushroom cloud might have been fake. But actually, I'm going to let this ending go through. He seems as well disappointed in himself, which I like. Fights gods and demons. That was 7. Just... Here you go. In a hallway. Also not how black holes really... But okay. There's a 13th Doctor story about 13's visit, one of those.
Well, he's a Time Lord. He could have done all of those visits in one afternoon.
I know, I think about that sometimes, but I don't know. David Tennant wouldn't. David Tennant would go every year for him just to remind himself, you know?
Mm,
13, I don't know what she'd do, but 10, 11, and 12 would all do that. I do kind of feel someone might have, like, let her go by the time of 13, but yeah, if you want to nitpick, it's a short story. You can ignore it. But, you know, this doctor, I think he might have a tendency to go a bit off the rails. It's, if you haven't remembered or picked up already, it's generally amazing that we didn't kind of pick up on where this incarnation is going,
yeah.
you know? Because once you go back, it's there. Yeah, they will. They're really wondering where their scarecrows are.
Yeah, they think this was just like a big robbery. Why do they need the scarecrows?
Love that somewhere part. Wait, he's got a Browns collar suit now. He does change him around. Dick. Yep. Actually, especially when you consider that the 10th Doctor believes he's lived, like, too long, and life dogs live too long, and you should die at, like, 80 or something, you know?
Mm.
Read the room. Actually, we've talked a lot. He has a habit of, like, this will be better, without thinking it through. Like, remember... in the Christmas special, when that lady who rode the hotel, he's like, you can go now, instead of owning a hotel, work for a hotel hundreds of years after you and your family are dead. It's like, yay, that's better. I feel like he honestly just wants her to come with so he can feel better about the, like, horrific atrocity he's committed.
Yeah.
Like, when I say read the room, it's definitely the writer knows this. Scathing. I love it. I do think the Doctor should look a little more responsible. Yeah, a little more responsibility in their travels.
Yeah.
Especially in a case like this. I don't think it's necessarily as bad as some might think, but yeah, like go to the future where, like, they actually aren't they have no defense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Oh, that's such a good field.
But why is the TARDIS here? It was at the
it's gorgeous.
school earlier. Did Martha carry it? Or
scenic, yeah.
did they move it? Like, or did they fly it? Fortunately, it was raining today. Actually, no, it's not. It just sounds like it's raining. Right? Their hair's not wet.
Yeah.
Their jackets are fine. But it sure looks like it's raining. We definitely won't live together for, like, a while next time, I promise. Hey, do you see that statue over there? How do you know? Oh, actually, he just knows things, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a genius.
No, he's like psychic or something. Just wait till the sequel.
Yeah, just give it. Just give it.
Just give
it time.
I actually don't remember which is worse in terms of military casualties, but they're both pretty bad, you know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure World War II is worse. Again, soldier-wise. I mean, it is kind of, you know, literally waving away the Holocaust, but it is an interesting statistic to think about, you know.
Yeah.
World War II was like, we now know what war is like with modern technology. You know?
Yeah, starting to get the hang of it.
World War I is genuinely like they came to do their little sandbag thing, and then they're like, actually, this doesn't really work, and they kind of just desperately dug holes in the ground and were like, I don't know, I guess this is what war is like. It's a very weird emergent thing. I don't know. He loved that, though. He has a mohawk for some reason, but... And I love this depiction, too, of just, like, those are kids. Just, you don't usually see kids like this, even though that's how it is. You know, you get your 18-year-olds in. Was World War I, did that also have national service, or was that just 2? Because they might be forced into the war, even.
Yeah, it's a good
18.
question. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It's more academic, but it is worse when people are forced into the war as opposed to just choosing it, you know?
Yeah.
Not that completely removes, like, all responsibility from the state. My God. I never thought
in the back,
I could just move. There's a joke in Saving Private Ryan where a guy gets, like, he's peeking over a sandbag or something, and he gets shot in the head, but, like, bounces off his helmet. So he takes it off and looks at the bullet hole, and everyone's, like, stunned. And then he gets shot in the head again because he's not wearing a helmet. He dies. It's like, oh, yeah. Shouldn't have done that. And then it's okay. It's better, though, because we, like, remember them, right? That makes it okay. And we look at all those medals.
Should not look pristine.
Well, it's like a Time Lord watch.
Actually, the doctor said it was just a regular old watch.
Yeah. Well, they don't work, is the thing, is watches. By the way, the poppies are a Remembrance Day World War I thing, if you don't know. We don't really do Remembrance Day in America, do we? Isn't it one of the holidays we replaced with Veterans Day or something else because we're like that?
I'm not sure.
Hey, it's actually raining. No, because it's November 11th, and that's something else in America. That's so weird. That'll never catch on. Yeah, it's a good start to a good string of episodes.
Man, that's a great start. I think, wait, let me look at these. I think that's my favorite of the season, probably.
If it's not, I have some questions. Season 3 has a lot of mid.
That was really good.
What's the best before this? The Dalek one? It's not standout. Nothing before this is standout. You know, there's good ones. There's entertaining ones, but this is the first standout. This is one of the strongest of the show so far. Just going.
Yeah, I'd say it's up there. Yeah.
The Satan Pit, but I don't think that's better. And I mean, season 1 is a league of its own. But Human Nature can stand with season 1. Human Nature beats.
Yeah, I'd say
a few season 1. Like Unquiet Dead, The Long Game. Even something real good. That's better than the Savine 2-parter. Like, season 3 is actually this might be better than most
really good
season 1 episodes. But of course, season 1's its own league, but this can stand there. You know, Blink. I don't remember it.
I'm sure we're gonna go back downhill.
According to IMDb, it's like the #1 rated episode of Doctor Who, like since its inception. But Well, it's airing, not its inception. But I don't know. I want to spout out all my Blink facts, but I think I can wait till next week. You know,
Gotta contain it.
next week, Blink. If somehow you were not aware, the Weeping Angel debut. There's gonna be a lot. I keep wanting to go into stories. I don't, and then we'll enter Utopia, Sound of Drums, Last of the Time Lords. But it's Blink. You know, it's Blink. It's not Don't Blink, which it has never been called. But yeah, I can see why it's the best Virgin New Adventure, which is it's got a lot of very solid stories. Modern Who loves mining its sort of side canon stuff. Like even Dalek is based on a Big Finish story called Jubilee, which I feel is honestly massively overstated the extent to which that is taken. There's like, you know, the scene where he's like, Doctor.
Yeah.
The Doctor. It's basically that scene. And then the rest of the episode is totally different. The audio also has a Dalek that's like kept in captivity. But this was a much more faithful, yes, we're doing human nature. I mean, it's literally called human nature. But no, Blink, the penultimate story of season 3. We'll need a new thumbnail soon.
Oh, that's so exciting. That's like Christmas.
Oh yeah, it's the best. Alex will have to do another pinstripe suit. They hate it.
I need to be made into like a K9 or a little.
So wait,
something.
we've talked about this, right?
Yeah.
There's not enough room for a companion. Alex has talked about maybe like a little chibi version next to me or something. Maybe you could fit. But here's the thing, right? Multi-doctors, right? Multi-doctor stories. What if you're the other doctor? We've talked about that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could have them do like little chibi versions of the companion if you want, but there's just not enough thumbnail real estate to.
Yeah, you've got an efficient system now. Everything's lined up.
I mean, even that's kind of hard.
As far
it's not
as I
the
can
best,
tell.
but it's a lot better. I've been cleaning up my thumbnails. The thumbnails themselves are good. I need to fit these instructions on screen, which you never see. I mean, there's not enough real estate to put another person on my my thumbnails. Yeah. And especially when they throw out big titles like I don't know.
The lore, the war
Sound
between
of
the
Drums.
thing and the thing.
I'm going to have to fit The Sound of Drums and The Last of the Time Lords on a thumbnail, Caden. There's not enough real estate to do these sort of things.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, I think we wrap it up then. Blink next week, and we'll
beautiful
carry
episode.
over. We'll carry over. I really don't want to miss a week. Well, actually, we can miss one, but not two. Because I really like ending with either this season, nice and clean, or the Christmas special, because Donna's not in that one.
Yeah.
We'll for once, we'll have a clean transition into the 15th Doctor.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Which I also actually need to get thumbnails for. And as a reminder, we don't do watch-alongs for 15. We do proper reviews. We'll have seen the episode. We'll come and discuss
5 hours.
it. Oh, I don't know, by the way. I'll look at this when we get closer to the date. I don't know if they're releasing episode 1 and 2 at the same time or not. I don't think they are, but it's harder to gather this news when I'm not really watching. I might just ask Reddit the week before, like, hey, is it parts 1 and 2? But if it is, we'll do them the same day like last time. If it's not, we won't take 5 hours and nearly beat JXC's Doctor Who review in terms of time. And we would have beat it if we remembered that thing we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it was close.
Do you want to talk about any of the next season stuff? Because it's done. We could do the spoiler stuff now. Tell people to leave if they don't want it. Or do you just want to go in blind? I could show you that villain if you want. But
ooh, it's a good
I also totally respect if you want to go in blind, because that's what I would have. I would have gone in blind, but I haven't.
Yeah. For now, I'll keep going blind. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do know one other concept of an episode. So I know the villain that's been announced. I know one of the concepts that have been announced that I'd actually forgotten about until I read these episode titles. Boom 2, no.
Yeah,
we've talked about it. You have probably also forgotten. But I'll leave it. I'll leave it unless you want to talk about discussions. And one of the episode titles might be suggesting a villain, but it might be coincidence. I don't know. And it's going to be a controversial one because it's a villain that's beloved by many and I think is lame. You're wrong. You're nostalgic. It's lame. Don't actually feel free to app.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's exciting.
Yeah, maybe I'll work on that Doctor Who review list for get it done by the time we finish these reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. We still got like 3 years of this though, so who knows?
Yeah, got a bit. Long haul.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't figured out. Actually, we have talked about some stuff we might do, but it depends if you're here in Spokane or not.
In the air, yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Time
like
will
3
tell.
years away. It's only David Tennant. But here's Modern Who. We got to get through this, and you're here.
Yeah, we got a bit.
Yeah. We got a bit. So I think, unless you have anything to add, I will say thank you all very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.